uh, Happy 4th of July, everybody. If you don't live in America, that sucks, I guess. RIP. Um, ooh. you know. But it is American Independence Day today, where we, like most of the other countries on Earth, celebrate our independence from the Kingdom of Britain, who pretty much controlled everything at one point or another. There's only like a couple or dozen or so countries that, maybe less than that, maybe under 10 countries that never were under British control at some point. So, yeah, here's your little history lesson for the day. And to celebrate today, first of all, I just want to point out I feel pretty ass. Not gonna lie. Ooh, a cat. Anyway, my like nose is running. My throat's kind of scratchy. Slow the fuck down. That guy was doing like 60. I'm sleepy. I'm very sleepy. But I don't feel great. But that is no excuse to not go and hit legs. Because you gotta hit legs. So to celebrate the 4th, we're hitting legs. Because you gotta get those wheels if you want to be making deals on Instagram Reels to get people in their feels. You gotta hit legs. None of that made any sense, but I just like rhyming. It's fun. Okay. Usual thing today, we got hack squats, followed by, I believe, RDLs, and then leg extension, like curl, and the I'm a slut machine, whatever that one's called. Abductor or adduct, one of the two. That one. And yeah, it's one thing I'll say about the bodybuilding lifestyle is that if you do it casually, that means that maybe you still drink every once in a while. I don't drink, but maybe if you still party, you hang out with your friends, you're all like, I can take a day off, it's not that big of a deal. And that's a fine approach, if that's what you want to do, if you are casual about it. Now, if you're 15 through 18 years old, and you're still a kid, there's no reason that you should be devoting 100% of your life to this sport. It just doesn't make sense. I mean, go out, have fun, make some friends, hang out with family, etc. But for someone like me, I am putting everything I got into this, and so as a result, I'm not really going to be spending too much holiday time doing holiday stuff, I'm not going to be having the burgers on the grill or, I could do that, but lean beef kind of tastes like ass, but anyway. I'm not going to be doing the hanging out with family and stuff because my family lives a while away, and we're doing this. We're going to the gym, And my point is that if you put everything you have into this, there's going to be sacrifices. You're going to sacrifice your diet, certainly, your time, your ability to see people, your free time, in some cases, like to some extent, your health, because cutting down to single digit body fat is unhealthy. It's a bad idea. Like physiologically, it's not good for you. Um, but you got to pay to play. And for somebody who's a hardcore competitive in the sport type person, you have to realize and understand and be okay with making those sacrifices. And if not, just understand that maybe you might be still really good. You might be genetically or inherently talented or gifted, but you aren't committed to the same level. And somebody else is out there working harder than you, So you just have to, but like the point, the essence of the spiel here, if you want to be a competitive bodybuilder, you have to do competitive bodybuilding things, and that means making a ton of sacrifices in your personal, in your social, in your life. That's just the way it is. And you need to surround yourself with people that understand that support you. You don't want somebody who's going to be like, well, you should be spending more time with me because blah, blah, blah. And I take it as a personal attack because you aren't devoting your life and time to this. You're doing it for this. And it's like, that might be, that's totally valid and legitimate argument in a lot of points. But A, it's not their decision. And B, that's not supportive. If they truly cared about what is important to you and what matters to you, then they'd just kind of roll with it and be like, okay, I understand that you're not going to be as available. I'm not going to see as much of you. You're going to spend a lot of time focusing on the gym and whatnot. How can I help? What can I do to be supportive? And that's the kind of people that you need to surround yourself with. You don't want people like, oh man, you can't come out to the party this weekend because you're going to be in the gym and you're not going to drink because it's bad for gains. And you're such a pussy, man. That's so stupid. Bodybuilding's so dumb. You're so gay. You don't want to be around people like that. Now, once you're in the off season, and you got 6 months of time to eat a little bit more like shit, and your training doesn't have to be quite as dialed in. Maybe, yeah, maybe that. But when you're in prep, when you're in pre-prep, you don't want to be. Your social circle shouldn't be full of anybody that's negative, anybody that's jealous, anybody that's selfish. What you need is what you need, and you need support. You need a support network. Bodybuilding is a sport of criticality, certainly, but also of positivity. In that, if you put in the best you can, and you get up on that stage, and then somebody next to you, you're standing next to like prime Dorian Yates, you're like, what the hell? If you still did the best that you can, and you just got smoked because somebody else is just better, it's still a sport of positivity. Nobody's going to be all like, wow, man, you look like shit. You suck. I hate you. If you honestly did your best, you can be proud of that, and other people are going to be proud of you. Like when I did my first show, did I do the best I could? I don't know. I was honestly probably like 7 out of 10. It's just like I'd rate the effort. 8 out of 10. 7 or 8. Maybe less. Who knows? I did good. I didn't do perfect. I did good though. And I won open, but like there are a couple classes I didn't like win. And I still got people who are like, wow, man, great job. You look really good. I didn't win, but like they're like, wow, great job, etc. And so it's a sport of positivity. And I think that is the essence of it. It's a one of the only sports where you fight against yourself, because the goal of bodybuilding is to be the biggest and the best. And how does that work? Well, it tends to be hand in hand with the amount of suffering and unpleasantry you go through. So, if you are able to punish yourself the hardest, you're able to endure the most amount of crap, then you might be able to look the best that you can. So, plus, other people you compete against with like posing and stuff. But like, it's a sport that you fight against yourself. And I think that's cool. I think that's why there's such a high overlap between like really, really smart people doing bodybuilding, like genius level people, like Mike Metzer. Arnold is quite intelligent, actually, despite his accent. But there's a lot of like very, very, very bright people in the bodybuilding world. Dorian Yates is scary smart, in fact. But I think it's because people that get fed up with the ennui and the rote day to day of their lives, and they lose interest in other things, like standard like games of whatever. They just get blasé about everything. And so bodybuilding, it's a very primal, like lifting, it's a very primal driver, but there's no end to the amount of difficulty you can put on. You can always add 5 more pounds. You can always do or shoot for another rep. You can always be bigger. You can always be faster, stronger, leaner, etc. So I think it kind of appeals to that portion of people's brains where it's like, hey, it's you versus you, and you can always get better. There's no end game, so to speak. And I think that is one of the factors that people like look into, and they're like, damn, that's really cool. I really, like the bell curve. You have your really dumb people that like bodybuilding because they're like, oh, me strong, me big weight. And then you have like your really smart people that do bodybuilding. It's like, hey, yeah, this is actually a challenge for the first time in so long. It's something that challenges me, and I can work hard, And I think you have that two sides of the extremes there. So it's kind of what you're into. Anyway, that is enough vanilla yappuccino for today. And I'm going to go hit legs, and I will see you guys in a few minutes.
Okay, hack squat, 2x8. I've got 370 loaded up, 10 pounds heavier than last week because last week I got both sets of 8. And this week we're going to do it again with 10 pounds more. That's what we're going to do. Doers do. Easier when it's over. Come on. Come on. There we go. One, two, three. Last one. Come on. Come on. Ah! Oh, yeah, that was pretty hard. One more of those. All right, I'm absolutely drenched in sweat. Let's do another one. And you know what? We don't care about mental failure. We are going for physical failure. If we're gonna hit it, we're gonna hit it, dude. You're gonna get all eight here. Come on. Try not to crap my pants. You know, might happen, but hey. One, two, three. Fuck. Come on. Come on, you fucking pussy. Let's go. Come on. Yes. I had one or two more easy. That wasn't so bad. Yeah, I had a couple more. No problem. Easy. Okay, so we're going to run an experiment today. One of the main problems I have when doing RDLs is I run out of breath, like I am right now. And I'm going to see if not wearing a belt will help with that, because it does kind of constrict the breathing a little bit. And it's not really heavy enough to warrant the belt anyway. I just use one because, in theory, it makes it easier. And we're going to test that theory. So, here we go. 2 sets of 12. Hold up, Creed's playing. I gotta take these off. I can hear it. Alright. Here we go. One, 2, 3. Okay, so far the theory is holding true. Unfortunately, there's some sample of Creed and not Creed. And that's a bummer. Almost lost it there. 1, 2, 3. Everybody knows the rules. 2 sets of 20 leg extension on the machine from hell. Where's the seatbelt? Look, I'm on an airplane. Sorry. Did that actually help? Probably not. Alright. Here you go. 1, 2, 3. Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay. So, I'm curious what kind of music people listen to in the gym. I mean, there's obviously like hardcore that people listen to, metal and stuff. But one of my buddies introduced me to listening to white girl music. I got Chapel Roan blasting right now, and it is fairly anabolic, but my PR song for a very long time was Roar by Katy Perry, and I think I pulled 535 on dead to that. I squatted 455 for 8 to that song. You know, my best bench ever was 315 for 10, and that was Hot and Cold by Katy Perry. So I gotta tell you, man, the white girl music really gets you going. Anyway, that's 20. 1, 2, 3. Oh man, that hurts. Oh goodness gracious. Alright, leg curls next. Holy moly. Alright. The leg curls. This is a different machine. So I just, the other one's over there, but the news last week. I feel like mixing it up a little bit. Anyway, I don't remember what weight I'm going to do for a set of 20. I'm going to start with like 140. And then if that's too much, I'll adjust it right off the bat. I mean, I warmed up, of course, but like, I don't know what my working weight's going to be. I don't remember on this machine. So here we go. That's way too heavy. Let's drop it to like less than that. God damn. Oh. Whoops. Anyway, one more of those. Whoops. Oh, goodness. Here you go again. Let's do it. Goodness. You know, hopes are not high, but what's the motto, boys? Easier when it's over. Okay, I tried to hold the last one, but dude, that was only 12. But I like pushed it hard in the first set, so shit. Oh well. Next. Alright. Here we go. Not my favorite machine, but it's one of the machines of all time. She says 25. Let's run it up. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Oh my gosh. Okay, and drop it further yet. Not as strong on this as I thought I would be. Alright, 1, 2, 3. There we go. Ugh. Okay, didn't film the second set of those because, you know what they are. You don't need to see that much of me. Oh, hang on a second, look at this gourmet mirror over here. We're gonna roll with this. No obstructions, that's so much nicer. Anyway, get a quick little check on the leg pump here. Guess I'll just drop trowel. Nah, I'm not gonna do that. I mean, is that so different than wearing trunks? Not particularly. But hey. Oh, you can see some pretty freaky vein structure coming out on the thigh here. That's gnarly, dude. Not so much on this side. Oh, a little bit down here. Huh? And see that there, too. That's pretty cool. Anyway. We are really getting somewhere now. That is freaky. Ugh. Ah. Big ol' ham hock there. So we can get a good... Yeah! Know that, not really supposed to hit the moon pose in, bodybuilding, but I think for the purposes of this video, just for some hamstring just to see that a little bit. Check out my OnlyFans. But yeah, pretty freaky leg pump. Probably the freakiest leg pump I've ever had in my life. Just this spiderweb lightning bolt down the one thigh, little network across the other one. Goodness gracious. I just like observing that. Alright. I'm so sweaty, I might just be able to... Hang on a second. Not too bad. Alright, boys. What a successful day. You know, I started off, I was feeling pretty shitty, feeling pretty sick, but now, happy 4th. That's all I gotta say. See you around.